The observation deck of the Imperial Dreadnought Sovereigns will stretch across 300 meters of reinforced crystal, offering an unobstructed view of the dying world below. Empress Lisa stood motionless before the viewport, her silver robes pooling around her feet like liquid mercury. Her species, the Valkyrie, had ruled the Andromeda sector for 12 millennia, and in all that time, no world had ever refused to kneel. Until now. Your Majesty, her tactical officer approached with careful steps. The human stronghold has rejected our final terms. They refuse evacuation. Lisa's 3 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of contemplation among her people. How many remain? Orbital scans detect 1 life signature, Majesty, a single human male. 1, after 6 months of siege, after her fleet had systematically dismantled every human defense grid, after the civilian population had been forcibly relocated to designated zones, 1 human remained in the fortress city of New Brasilia. The defiance should have amused her. Instead, it unsettled something deep within her ancient consciousness. "Show me," she commanded. The viewport shimmered, magnifying the surface. The city lay in ruins, its once gleaming spires now jagged teeth against a smoke-filled sky. At the city's heart stood the Congressional Tower, humanity's last governmental seat on this colony world. Damage reports cascaded across her neural implant. The building should have collapsed days ago. Enhanced Sector 9, Level 42. The image zoomed further. Through a shattered window, Lisa could see him. Alex. She had learned his name weeks ago when he began broadcasting on open frequencies. Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen, formerly of the Earth Colonial Marines, now apparently the self-appointed last defender of a world already lost. He moved through the ruined office space with determined efficiency, repositioning automated defense turrets, checking ammunition reserves that had to be nearly depleted. "He knows he cannot win," Lisa said softly. "Yes, Majesty. Our battle analysis gives him 0 probability of survival beyond the next orbital strike." Lisa had witnessed the fall of 1,000 worlds. She had accepted the surrender of species far older than humanity. She had watched civilizations crumble with the dispassionate interest of someone who had lived for 3,000 years. The loneliness of command, her mentor had once told her, was the price of immortality and power. But something about this human solitary vigil pulled at memories she thought she'd buried centuries ago. "Open a direct channel," Lisa ordered, "personal frequency only." Her officers exchanged uncertain glances but obeyed. A moment later, Alex's face appeared on her personal display. He was younger than she'd expected, perhaps 30 standard years, with dark hair matted with dust and eyes that held exhaustion but no fear. "So the Empress herself honors me," Alex said, his voice carrying that peculiar human mixture of sarcasm and sincerity. "Should I bow, or is that only for species that plan to survive the weak? Why do you remain human? Your people are safe in our relocation centers. This resistance serves no purpose." Alex laughed, the sound bitter. "Safe? You mean imprisoned on their own world, forced to work in your processing facilities, forbidden to govern themselves? That's not safety, Empress. That's just a prettier kind of death. We offer order, structure. Your species will thrive under our guidance." "We're not children needing guidance. We're human beings." Alex moved to the window, looking up at her ship hanging in the sky like a silver moon. "Every species you've guided has lost something essential. The Tharnics forgot how to dream. The Colvanians forgot how to laugh. You'll forgive me if I'm not eager to forget what makes us human." Lisa felt something crack in the crystalline perfection of her imperial composure. "You will die for nothing. Maybe, but maybe someone somewhere will remember that we didn't go quietly, that one human said no to the Empress of Andromeda." He smiled then, and it transformed his dirt-streaked face. "That's not nothing, Your Majesty. That's everything." The channel closed. Lisa stood frozen, staring at the now blank display. 3,000 years ago, she had been different. Before the crown, before the weight of empire, she had been Lisa of House Carnal, a young warrior scholar who believed that power should serve wisdom, not the reverse. She had watched her people evolve from explorers to conquerors, had seen the light of curiosity dim in their eyes as it was replaced by the cold certainty of dominance. She had become what her civilization demanded: eternal, efficient, empty. Majesty, her tactical officer interrupted her thoughts. Strike package is ready. On your command, we can eliminate the target and claim final victory. Lisa looked down at the ruined city, at the solitary figure moving through the congressional tower. She thought about the last time she had personally believed in something enough to stand alone against impossible odds. It had been during the succession wars, when she had opposed her own brother's claim to the throne. She had lost that battle but won the war, and in the process, lost something she couldn't name. Until now, watching this human prepare for his meaningless last stand, she understood what she'd lost. Hope, defiance, the irrational belief that one person could matter. Majesty, your orders. Lisa made a decision that would shake the foundations of her empire. Cancel the strike. All ships pull back to high orbit. Shocked silence filled the command deck. Majesty, I don't understand. Prepare my personal shuttle. I'm going to the surface. You cannot, the security risks. Lisa's three eyes fixed on her officer with an intensity that had toppled governments. I am 3,000 years old. I have conquered more worlds than you have neural pathways. I believe I can handle one exhausted human. She paused. Alone. I go alone. 20 minutes later, her shuttle descended through the ash-choked atmosphere. Lisa piloted it herself, a skill she hadn't exercised in centuries. The congressional tower loomed before her, and she sat down on the cratered plaza with a precision that pleased her. Alex was waiting at the entrance, his rifle pointed at the ground but ready. Up close, she could see the toll the siege had taken, the weight loss, the tremor in his hands from exhaustion, the bandages covering a dozen wounds. But his eyes remained clear. An Empress making house calls, he said. What's the occasion? Come to watch the execution up close. Lisa descended the shuttle ramp, her silver robe seeming to glow in the dim light. She stood 2 heads taller than him, her crystalline skin reflecting the fires burning across the city. I came to understand. Understand what? Why you stayed, why you fight when fighting serves no tactical purpose. She moved closer, and Alex tensed but didn't raise his weapon. I have lived 3,000 years, Commander Chen. I have forgotten more civilizations than you could name, and in all that time I have never encountered someone who made me question my certainty. Alex studied her face, searching for deception. What are you saying? I'm saying that you are right. We have become so efficient at conquest that we forgot why we reached for the stars in the first place. We have order without purpose, eternity without meaning. Lisa's voice softened. You reminded me what it feels like to believe in something worth dying for. That is a gift I did not expect. So what now? You kill me anyway, just with respect. No. Lisa drew herself up, and in that moment, she was every inch the Empress who had ruled a sector. Now I do something I have not done in a millennium. I admit I was wrong. The words hung in the air between them like a benediction. I'm withdrawing my fleet from this system. Your people will govern themselves. I will personally guarantee your independence. She turned to look at the ruins around them. I cannot undo the damage we've caused, but I can ensure it goes no further. Alex's rifle clattered to the ground. Why would you do this? Lisa met his eyes, and for the first time in centuries, she allowed someone to see past the imperial mask to the person beneath. Because you showed me that one person, standing for what they believe, can change the course of empires. Because I was lonely for so long, I forgot what companionship with an equal feels like. Because, she paused, because you made me remember who I was before I became what I am. Your empire won't accept this. They'll see it as weakness. Let them. Perhaps it's time the Valkyrie remembered that true strength isn't the power to destroy, but the wisdom to choose not to. She extended her hand, a gesture she'd learned from studying human customs. Will you help me remember what we've forgotten, Commander Chen? Will you teach an old Empress how to be more than a conqueror? Alex stared at her hand for a long moment. Then, slowly, he reached out and clasped it. His grip was firm despite his exhaustion. On one condition, he said, you call me Alex, not Commander, not human, just Alex. For the first time in 3,000 years, Empress Lisa smiled, not the calculated expression of state occasions, but a genuine smile of connection and possibility. Then you must call me Lisa, just Lisa. Above them, the Imperial fleet began to withdraw, their engines lighting up the night sky like falling stars in reverse. And in the ruins of New Brasilia, an empress and a soldier stood together, two lonely souls who had found in each other the courage to change the course of history. The galaxy would never be the same.